Medical literature is a big part of the BSMD program application. Many people avoid discussing it because it's vague and oftentimes advice is conflicting. I'm going to try and explain in this video how you can succeed in research. I knew nothing about the process of research in high school, so knowing this would have really helped me apply to BSMD programs. I'm going to try and convince you that it should be a part of your application as well. When I'm advising students about research, the first question that they have is, how do I choose a topic to research? The short answer is that it really doesn't matter. The long answer and the ugly truth is that there are labor laws which heavily restrict minor employment at universities. Many university professors are already applying to many grants, so having a high schooler in the lab better be worth it for the paperwork that it brings. Not only that, they're going to be teaching you many skills, depending on the type of research that you do. So you better be a very good alternative because the return on investment is only 2 to 3 years maximum. In order to minimize this time, spend your year before your research internship building skills which will help the people in your laboratory. One of the most underrated skills in the medical literature is an understanding of biostatistics. If you haven't taken AP Stats, I would suggest looking into it. Furthermore, if you could add on skills such as manipulating data in MATLAB or R, which are two open source statistical softwares, I would highly suggest it. Knowing statistics can help you a lot, and it can make you really attractive as an addition to a laboratory as a high school student. Choosing what to research is also difficult, because most of the time you're probably not going to be understanding what's happening in these papers. You don't have the coursework to tell you what these different cellular mechanisms do. If you do, then you should dive headfirst into the scientific literature. You can find these at PubMed, a site which aggregates scientific research. What I suggest doing is understanding what the papers did statistically, which can add to your already developing skill set. Most of the time, papers have to quantify their calculations, and finding out how they do this is the most important part. It's kind of doing the things that they do at the end of the research paper and trying to figure out how you can add some of your value into the papers that you've already researched. This way, you're becoming more and more useful in a niche skill that can be applicable to most medical research projects. Starting from the basics, a lab is made up of a PI or a principal investigator. Then there are many postdoctoral students who have finished their PhD or graduate level students. Then there might be an undergraduate or high school researcher along in the lab with you. The PI is managing a team and is not going to respond to you quickly if you ask for a research position. They have many other responsibilities and people to keep track of. Therefore, your email which you send to them has to be eye-catching. Since you have been building skills for about a year now, it shouldn't be too hard to explain what you are proficient in. One last thing that you would need is to format a resume and a cover letter, which you can get from the resources that I have linked below in the description. The email that I used was formatted like this. My name is Shri, and I am a freshman enrolled in high school. I am interested in conducting research in your department. I had recently come upon your research, and I would really appreciate the chance to talk to you about possible high school opportunities in your lab over the summer and fall semester. I am proficient in reading relevant literature and analyzing data, and have been trained in your relevant skills. I understand that you are very busy, so please let me know a good date and time to reach you. I have attached a current resume for your review. Thank you for your time. Your name. Now, be prepared to wait. I sent about 300 emails before I got a grand total of 0 responses. Then I sent another 300 for a grand total of 3 responses. If none of these strategies work, you can apply for a program which matches students to laboratories. There are many of these programs which have been developed, and they will definitely help you get placed in a laboratory. However, I did not personally use their services and therefore cannot speak to their usefulness. They have been invaluable for others in the past. Congratulations, you got into a lab. The second part of this video is how you can make the research work for you. You're probably going to be placed under a lab manager's purview. Therefore, be the best underling that you can. Learn the ins and outs of every process. This part of the job is called building skills. Just like you use the power of building skills to get into a lab, now you can use that power to gain expertise in that particular niche skill. You already have the skill of statistics. Now you can add doing research to that skill set as you apply to colleges. Choose the hardest problems to work on, knowing that the work that you put in at this stage will pay dividends later on. As a high school student, you have more time than the people in your lab, so you can choose which problems you work on and then become an expert in them. If no one in the lab knows MATLAB and you do, then if the PI requires someone to use MATLAB, the lab's luck just became your luck. By completing this task, you can earn a skill which you didn't have before. This credibility has compounding effects. By front-loading all of your stress, you can take on harder and harder projects. The PI will be able to trust you, and this is important for the next step. Finally, when you're curating your applications, marketing yourself is hard. No one teaches you about marketing, but it's at the core of the college application process. Marketing yourself as a high schooler is all about these two tangible products, publications and research. In the world of research, publications are like your credibility that I had mentioned before, but it's credibility that not just your PI understands, but everyone in the world understands. If you publish a peer-reviewed paper in a journal, then everyone knows that you've created reproducible research. You cannot control when your PI wants to publish, but you can broach an idea for publication given your credibility in the lab. If you explain how it can help for college applications, many PIs will want to work with you to help you realize this dream, because that means that they're also getting published as well, and they'll put in the work as a mentor. If you can't convince your PI to help you get published in a peer-reviewed journal, there are also high school journals which you can submit your work to. There are also competition in which high schoolers can enter, such as the International Science and Engineering Fair, which can help you signal your interest in medical research. Finally, your PI can also serve as a powerful recommendation who can vouch for your research skills in the lab when you're applying to college. There are lots of reasons why you should get involved in research. If you want something that'll help you in high school and later on in life, then research is definitely something to consider. Like I said, research is vague. Building skills is better. Finding a niche which you can exploit is the best way to describe why research helps a high school student. You're not going to become Einstein by doing research, but you can become an attractive college application and build your skill set for becoming an undergraduate researcher as well as a graduate level researcher.